Hi folks! In my last video I showed you my build of Grant Searle's Simple 6502, the GS6, hand-wired onto a piece of strip board. Today I'd like to give a little tour of some of the things this machine can do. Today on...
Hey kids! It's the 6502 show.
Who says little single-board computers can't dazzle you with color? Or show you a pretty picture? Or even send you to the stars at warp speed? You can do all of this and more with the easiest to build 8-bit computer on the planet, the GS6. Okay, let's do a quick review of the specs of the GS6. As you can see here, it's a 6-chipper CPU. We got a clock with a flip-flop dividing that down in half. We have some older chips, so we got to run at a little slower speed. ACIA right there, RAM-ROM, and a little bit of logic to glue it all together. About as simple as it can possibly get. Here we have a more or less block diagram physical layout of the GS6. Grant doesn't allow any replication of his materials on other websites. I thought I would honor that for a video, but you can find it at a web address in the description below. It's on the screen right now as well. But here's the GS6, the way I built it. And of course, what good is a pile of chips on a board and a bunch of wires if you don't have some software that you can run on it? And here we are, the eWoz Monitor, named after Steve Wozniak, of course. The original going back all the way to, 50 years now? This is specifically for a 6850 ACIA rather than a bit banger coming out of a PIA or a VIA. We have our zero-page usage here, pretty high up on the page to avoid conflicts with some high-level languages. And speaking of which, Focal 65 needed to have a user IRQ vector in order for it to work. Its whole error routine runs off of breaking. We've got full reset, soft reset, where we're not messing with the stack or resetting the serial or messing with the user IRQ. Addresses to output, addresses to input. GetChar actually will wait for a keystroke, so a little bit different there. And the usage, the same as it's been since time immemorial. We want to display some memory from one place to another. We would like to write some data to memory. We want to go run our code. And here is the added L command, which will load a Motorola S-Record routine that I adapted from SWATbug. And also wrote an S-Record puncher so that we can make our own S-Records. They load 9 times faster than an Apple hex monitor file that you can make, which is still pretty good, and hundreds of times faster than doing, a serial transfer character by character. Well, next, let's go see if we can find some software that makes a few improvements on this. And this here is the program that's going to do it. Supermon, Jim Butterfield's collection of pieces and parts that came from other places, and he put it all together and kind of curated the thing from the PET into the Commodore 64. And what we have here is a modded version of Supermon Plus for the GS6. J.B. Langston had the code, found it online, gussied it up, got it ready to assemble with modern cross-assemblers, and here we are with some great tools. I mean, check all this stuff out. You can assemble, disassemble, compare, fill, hunt through memory, display the memory, alter the memory, transfer the memory, all the things with all the memory. This is a great tool in addition to the basic functionality of the Wozmon that really lets you get hands-on deep into the machine. And the only other thing I have done to this, other than just assemble it, was I fixed the auto advance here on the assembly option. And it relied on the screen editor for the Commodore 64 and the PET to move the cursor up and over type things and then send that into memory. So all I did was write a little routine that stuffs that line, the A and the address, into the input buffer, and then you can go on your merry way right from there. Here we have 7 neat languages that we can use right now with the GS6 design. And I'm hoping to add 4th to that pretty soon. We've got a number of basics, Apple One basic right there, Pitman's Tiny, and also MOSTech, which is Microsoft's basic for the Kim 1, and Lee Davidson's Enhanced Basic. That sits in a ROM. Lots of RAM available for your programs, so there isn't much you're not going to be able to do with a basic computer like this. Well, it can do what any other 8-bit computer can do that doesn't have any video RAM memory. And we're not talking about just playing games typed in out of 101 basic computer games, those books back from the late 70s. No, sir, we've got some good stuff coming up here right now. Here are just a few of the classic games you can play with this machine. We've all played Minesweeper. I mean, think of all the time you wasted on this on your Windows 3.1 machine, or maybe Windows 95. Well, you can play it again right here on the GS6. Now, if you had a timer chip, say a 6532 or a 6522 VIA, you could add the timer function. I've done just that on my other machine, my 6800 Hassler's Monster. There are a number of great card games you can also play. A great game is Swedish Whist. I found this on a 6800 Flex 2 disk archive and translated it from TSC Basic to the Microsoft flavor. And you too can get down and dirty with Lars, Kirsten, and Karen. Well, how about digging into the deep past for some great simulations? In fact, we can go all the way back to the beginning with the Sumer game, more commonly known as Hammurabi. Here is the original in Focal by Doug Diamond, and it plays just the way you remember, with your terminal at the school, plugging into that PDP-11 and watching the paper fly. Taking a look at the code here, Focal is quite a compact language, but if you know anything about BASIC, you're going to be right at home with Focal in no time. Now moving ahead to 1978, and we can play Santa Paravia. This was an incredibly popular game throughout the 80s and lasted a long time and went through many versions. There were versions for Commodore 64. Even the Amiga had a version for it. As you can see, it's a lot more complicated than just selling grain and feeding people. There are castles and cathedrals to build. There is land to defend, invasions to repel. A lot more to do, and it's a multiplayer game. Up to 6 people can play. So entice your kids or your significant other to gather around the old GS6 and see if they can manage a medieval Italian city-state. And of course, the computer is capable of doing complex calculations. Here we have a depth of field program that will tell you about your lenses and what you can do with them. Let's say I have a 150 millimeter lens and it's going to be a cloudy day and I'm at, let's say, a track meet and I'm sitting in the stands. It's a cloudy day, so we're going to shoot at f8, and I punch those in, and voila! I now know that I need to probably sit halfway back in the stands. If I'm too close, I'm not going to get some good shots of kids running down the track. Here is a program that calculates the powers of 2, 3, 4, whatever you want of a given matrix, a set of data in an array for you. I'm not entirely sure how useful this is, but it can do it. And last, we have the source of all these great Focal programs. Online is most of the DECUS library, the DEC users group. sorting programs, filter design for audio. Next underneath that, first order differential equations. Play darts. You want to play Hammurabi in French? They've got it. So head over to that website, link in the description below. You can find tons, literally hundreds and hundreds of programs for Focal 65. Requires just a tweak or two. And of course, it wouldn't be a 6502 show video if we didn't have something playing some kind of Star Trek. This is Trek 2003. Vince Briel put this together for the Replica 1 computer, but it plays just fine and dandy on our machine. There are links in the description below that tell you where to find all the stuff that we've talked about today, including the block diagram and some other plans and some software for you to play around with. I just find the whole thing a lot of fun, especially playing around with old software from the late 60s, early 70s, and running it on equipment that I built myself. And certainly, if I can do it, you can do it. So, like, subscribe, thanks for watching, all those things. You know, I don't make a dime off of this. I just make videos just for my own pleasure and enjoyment and to share some ideas and things that I've got going on. That's it. Anyway, hope you all take care, and I'll see you in the next video.